Good morning, higher tier mathematicians in years 10 and 11. This is the Mymaths walkthrough for converting recurring decimals to fractions. So thank you for attending the live lesson yesterday. Hope it made sense. If you wasn't able to make it, the recording of it is up on Google Classroom, so it's worth a watch before you have a go at this homework. Because I haven't got a pen and a paper, Mymaths have kindly given us a bit of space on the side to do our workings out, right? So let's go through the processes we spoke about in the lesson yesterday. These dots obviously tell us that these numbers, we call it recur. So let's do the first one. We're going to convert 0.7 recurring into a fraction. So type in over here 0.7777 because that's what it represents. I did that quickly by pressing the tab button every time I wanted to go to the next square. And of course, the idea is we want these lines here, we want these two lines to match up so we can subtract the two lines, right? So I'm going to multiply this. X represents the fraction, don't forget, that we're trying to find. And I'm going to multiply it by 10 for this first one. So if I multiply all of this by 10, I'm sure you would agree it goes to 7.7777. Now these two parts match up. So I am going to subtract these two lines of work. And don't forget, in front of that x is the number 1. We just don't bother writing it. So I've got 10x minus 1x, which leaves me with 9x. I've got 7, take away 0, which is 7. And that, take away that, disappears, which is why we've done it. So if I wanted the fraction, it would be 7 on the top. And then this 9 would come over and go underneath. So 0.7 recurring as a fraction is 7 over 9. Right, okay, let's clear that one and have a look at the next one. So this time I've got 0.27 recurring. So let's type in there 0.272727. And I need these to match up. And if I times it by 10, I'd have 2.727272. And these wouldn't match up. So I'm going to multiply it by 100. Right, you get the hang of it once. You know, if there's one number with a dot, you multiply it by 10. If there's 2 with a dot, you multiply by 100. It's no surprise that the next one, 3 numbers, are multiplied by 1,000, etc. Right? So I'm going to multiply this by 100, and I get 27.272727. And you can see they've matched up. Don't forget, the easy, quick way of multiplying decimals by 100 is just move everything over 2. Right, so what I've done is just shifted this over 2 places. And because they match up, I can now subtract. So I've got 100x minus 1x is 99x. I've got 27 take away 0, which is 27. And of course, these disappear when you subtract them, which is what we're trying to do. So my fraction will be 27 on the top. That 99 will come over and go underneath. And that's that one done. Right, let's have a look at the next one. 0 point. Now, because there's a number there without a dot above it, but the recurring pattern is from the first dot and the last dot. So that means 247, 247, 247, etc. Right? So 247, 247. And I want these to match up. I want this to also be 247. Now, if I times by 10, it would start with a 4. If I times by 100, it would start with a 7. So I'm going to times it by 1,000, which makes it 247.247. Lots of 247s going on there. Now, because they match up, I can subtract like I did earlier and get the fraction. So 1,000x take away 1x is 999x. 247 take away 0 is 247, and they disappear. So my fraction is 247 on the top. This 999 comes over and goes on the bottom. No problem. And the last one then, what have we got? 0.63196319 and so on and so on. Now obviously times them by 10 isn't going to work because the 3 will go there. Times it by 100 won't. Times it by 1,000 won't. So this one is multiplying by 10,000. Which means I move everything over 4 places. So I get 6319.6319 9, 6, 3, etc. And you can see now that these match up. So when I subtract, they will disappear. So 10,000 minus the 1 is 9,999. 6319 take away 0 is 6319. And these two rows disappear, which is what I wanted. So the fraction is 6319 on the top. And this 9999 comes over to the bottom. All right, let's check we've done that correct. Boom. Right, 8 out of 8. Okay. So not too tricky there. So let's look at question 2. This does go up a notch, as you can see. We seem to have a bit of an extra line for our working, and we went through these in the lesson yesterday. You'll also see that our recurring decimals have some numbers before the decimals start to recur. So there's that extra step. Right? So let's go through it slowly. X is 0.8 and the 6 is recurring. So let's type that in. 0.8, and it's just the 6 recurring there, right? So I'm going to times it by 10 first, as we did earlier, and I'll get 8.666. And you can see there, they don't match up, right? I can't subtract them because these two parts behind the decimal point don't match up. So my next step is to multiply it by 100. Multiply the original one by 100, and I'll get 86.66666. Now you can see these two lines match up. So I'm no longer using the initial line with just x. It's these two lines that match up, so it's these two lines I will subtract. So 100x take away 10x is 90x. 86 take away 8 is 78. And all of those 6's will disappear. So my fraction will be 78 on the top, and the 90 will come over as a divide, and you'll have 90 on the bottom. Okay, so that was the extra step, but the process was still very similar. Let's try the next one. So it's 0.2, and then the 1,4 is recurring. So 0.2, 1,4, 1,4, 1, etc., etc. Now, if I times this by 10, I'll get 2.141414. And as you can see, they haven't matched up. So that's no good to me. So let's times it by 100, the original expression, and I'll get 21.41441. And they haven't matched up either. So that hasn't worked at all. So I'm obviously going to need to go to the next level and multiply by 1,000. And if I multiply by 1,000, that means move it over 3 places. I'd have 214, and then after the decimal point, I'd have the 1414 pattern. So do you know what? I'm going to change this line here. I'm going to change that to 1,000, make that 214. And that's how it looks. Now check the numbers are the same. 141414, 14141414. Okay, so it'll be these two lines I will now subtract. The first one won't be a part of it at all. 1000x take away 10x is 990x. 214 take away 2 is 212. These parts disappear. So my fraction will be 212 over 990. Okay, so that was a bit tougher. And you can see something very similar is going to happen in the last one here as well. It's going to take a few attempts to figure out what will I have to times by to get the matching pattern after the decimal point. So let's start from scratch. So the recurring decimal is 0.5698. And it's the 9 and the 8 that are recurring, so another 9 and another 8. So effectively, I'm going to need just 9s and 8s here. That's the only way I can get them to match up, if that's 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, and that line there, and that line there. So I'm hoping you're savvy enough to spot. If I multiply it by 100, I'll get 56.989898, etc. If I multiplied it by 1,000, I'd get 569, and then my first number after the decimal point would be an 8. So that isn't going to work. So I'm going to go to the next one and multiply it by 10,000, which means I will move it over 4 places. So I'll have 5698 and then 989898. Now they match up. So now I can subtract. 10,000 take away 100 is 9,900. 5698 take away 56. It's too early in the morning to be doing this. What's that? 42. 5642. Yep, that's right. And then they will disappear. So my fraction will be the 5642 over the 9900. So fingers crossed, so I did that in my head, fingers crossed that last one is right. Let's have a look. And they were all correct, all right? So you can either use the tool on the Mymaths like I just did, or by all means do them on paper and take your time, right? But you are guaranteed to get one of these on a non-calculator GCSE paper, so it's worth practicing because look, it's 3 marks. And it's just a routine, and once you know the routine, it's not that difficult, right? So stick at it, get a green, please. Keep doing it until you get a green, right? Thanks everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you next Monday for your next live lesson. Look out for your Manga High and Corbett tasks that will be scheduled on Thursday. Alright, take it easy, bye bye.